Hello everybody and welcome back. In this video, we're finally going to be taking the data that's provided to us by our chat stream, and we're going to be populating our chats page with all of that data and actually building out our UI. But right now at this stage, if I click on our start debugging and I start debugging our application, you're going to see that once our application actually launches and gets to the chats page, we are going to get an error. And I'll pause the video here and I'll resume it once we actually have the error on screen, and then I'll let you know why that error is caused and how we can fix it. So I'll see you guys in just a tad bit. Hello everybody and welcome back. So now that our application has launched, as you can see, we get an error when we try to actually use our chat user factory method.from JSON, as you can see here. And the reason we're getting that is if I close my chat user and I close the widget inspector, inside of our chats page provider, when we actually instantiate our chats page provider, we call the getChats function, which creates a stream, and that stream inside of it does some data manipulation or formatting, as you can say, and inside of there we have this very specific section where we actually get the users in that are a member of our chats, and we loop over them and we try to get data about them. However, when we give the user data that we've retrieved for the user to our chat user.from JSON, our actual user data document or map does not right now contain a UID key inside of it, which if I click on the definition for the factory method chat user.from JSON actually requires. As you can see here, it requires the JSON document to have a key of UID in it. So we need to add that. So how do we do that? Well, above the actual line where I add the members list, the chat so above the line from where I actually add to the members list our chat user, I am going to take the user data map and I'm going to add a UID key to it, and I'll set that to what? And I'm going to set that to our user snapshot.id. And as I do this, you're going to see that everything should now be resolved, and I'm going to do command save. So you might say, well, Hussein, why the user snapshot.id? Well, I can use the UID as well if you want, but I just wanted to show you that this is another way of accessing the ID of a document. And since we know that the IDs of the documents are the same as the UIDs of the users, we can be confident that this can act as the UID for our user. So with this done, what I'm going to do is that I am going to click on resume, and I'm going to perform a hot restart on the application. And now I'm going to wait for the application to do a hot restart, and let's see what happens. I do not think that it's going to work just for the fact that we did have a crash. So I'm going to just terminate the debug session and I'll start it again. And once we're back, then we'll begin the process. So I'll be back in just a second. Okay, welcome back everybody. So now that we have that little error taken care of, I think we can begin the process of actually working inside of our chats page to get the data from our chats page provider. So for now, if we go to our chats page and we kind of see the widget hierarchy, we can see that inside of our build function, we actually wrap our build UI function called inside of a multi-provider. That means anything under that widget tree should have access to our chats page provider. That's why inside of our build UI function, we can actually have access to our page provider. So now we are doing our build function and we're setting our page provider to context.what chat page provider. So we can be confident now that our page provider is ready for action now and we can use it. So what I'd like to do is that I'd like to go to my chats list function, and I'd like to start from there and first extracting the data and then doing some things. So let's do that, and then in the next video maybe we'll work towards linking the chat tiles with the chat list. So inside of our chats list, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to say that I need a list of chats, obviously, because that's what I need to display. And this might be optional because we might not have any chats. And then I'll set that equal to our page provider dot and then chats. There you go. And now you're going to get an error which says that the chat isn't a type, so it can't be used as an argument. That's because we haven't imported it. So I'm going to go to the top and I'm going to say that we're going to import our models here, and our model is going to be import dot slash, and then from there I'll do models, and then I'll do chat dot and do command save. So now it should remove that error. So now that we have access to our chats, what we can do is that we can print our underscore chats and see if we have access to them. So if I do this and I open up my terminal and I go to the debug console and I restart my application, you're going to see that first we get it null and then we get an instance of chat. And that's our provider actually working in action, because first when we try to initially access the chats, they're null, but after some time, once everything gets loaded and notify listeners is called again, the UI re-renders itself, and that time when we access our chats, we actually have 2 instances of chats. So that means that now we have the required data that we want. So what do we do with this data? Well, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to say that for our expanded widget, I'm going to remove the child. And I'm going to replace the child with an actual function. So I'm going to say that the child is going to be a function, and that function is going to take no inputs. And then I'll add the curly brackets for the function. And at the end, I'll also add these 2 parentheses at the end to mark the function as being executed, and then add this following. And that's pretty much it. Now what we have to do is that inside of this function, we need to return a widget. So for example, if I do return and I do a container, just for an example, and add a semicolon at the end, you're going to see that all the errors are fixed. So essentially what we're doing is that for our child, we're creating an anonymous function, and then we're adding parentheses at the end to kind of dictate that this function needs to be run, and then the function returns a container. Okay, so now that we know how the anonymous function works, I think we can remove the call to return a container, and instead of that, we can add some logic. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to say that if our underscore chats, so our chats list, is not equals to null, that means we can actually render some chat tiles. Else, what I'm going to do is that I am going to return a center widget. So remember, a center widget is just a widget that centers a widget that inside of it, so it's child widget within whatever its parent widget is. And then I'm going to say that it's going to have a child which is going to be a circular progress indicator. This is given to us by Flutter. This is not something that's from the Flutter Spin Kit package. And I'm going to say that the color for that is going to be colors.white. So with this, I'm going to add a semicolon, and this is pretty much all we had to do. But we're getting a lot of errors, and that's just because it expects us to return a widget from our if statement as well. So we'll fix that. So now inside of my if statement, if the chats are not equal to null and there's something in the chat, then what we're going to do is that we're going to check to see if the chats.length is not equals to 0. If it isn't equal to 0, then we're going to display the UI, else we're going to display something else. So I'll do the else clause first. So if our chat's length is 0, then what I'm going to do is that I am just going to copy and paste this in because it's very simple. And it's just going to be a center widget with a child, which is going to be a text widget, which will say no chats found as its value. And then it'll have just some basic styling to it where the color is colors.white. And with this, the final thing that we're going to do is that inside of our underscore chats.length, I'm going to say that I'm going to return a list view. And then what I'm going to do is that I'm going to return a builder function for it. So what a ListView.builder does is that it builds a list view, and for each of the child that it needs to build in the list view, it uses this item builder function to kind of deduce how that child should be built. And this requires another property that we need to give it before the item builder. So I'll remove the item builder, and that's the amount of items that need to be built. So I'll set the item count, and that's going to be our chats.length, as we know. And then after that, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to add the item builder to this. And the item builder is a function that takes in a build context. And I'll call this context, or in my case, I'll just call it underscore context, and also an index of what child is being built, so int index, and then we just open up the function definition, and inside of here what I'll say is that I'll return a chat tile. So I'm going to say underscore chat tile, and then I'm going to say chats, and then with this I'm going to say underscore index and do this. So now we are getting an error, and that's because our chat tile widget expects us to give it no arguments, but we're giving it a one argument, which is our chats index. So for now, what I'll do is that I'll remove this index, and we'll modify the chat tile function later on to get data from our actual chats list. And I'm going to do command save. And as soon as I do this and I restart my application, you're going to see that we get this loading indication, and after that we get our 2 chats, as you can see. So now what we are going to do in the next video is that we're going to modify our chat tile function a bit so that it can actually show the information that we're passing to it from our chats list. So with that, thank you for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next video.